somebody to fucking tell me they're lying. I need somebody to fucking tell me they're lying. I need somebody to fucking tell me they're lying right fucking now, because what the fuck do you mean that I'm not gonna get my fucking SNAP benefits? What the fuck do you mean?
Welcome back, everybody. Today we've got another lineup of clips that show exactly why taxpayers are fed up. From wild entitlement to straight-up abuse of the system, each clip is crazier than the last. And trust me, you're going to want to stick around until the end, because that final one, it's the most unbelievable of them all. Now, before we dive in, I want to hear from you. Do you think programs like food stamps and Section 8 need tighter rules? Or do you think the current system is fair enough as it is? Drop your thoughts down below. I always read the comments. All right, let's get started.
It's been 6 days since my food stamps were taken. Almost $10,000 a month in welfare benefits that I no longer have. My caseworker just called me. On top of losing everything and possibly, well, very likely not getting any of it back, I now have to pay back over $22,000 in welfare benefits. So now they're going to be garnishing our disability and my child support that I receive for my kids. So now, I don't know how I'm going to feed my kids. I don't know how I'm going to pay rent tomorrow. $1,100 I have to come up with. $1,100 on top of not being able to buy groceries because my food stamps are gone. This is not okay. This is not okay. I have 6 children I have to support. 6. Do you understand? Do you guys understand what this is doing to me? This is the taxpayer's responsibility. That's why you pay taxes. To support families like myself. And I can't get any help. No, I have reached out to every single resource that my county has. None of them have funding. So now what do I do? I don't know what to do. And I can't get a job. I'm not getting a job.
So let me get this straight. Almost $10,000 a month in welfare benefits gone. And instead of asking, how did I end up relying on this for so long? The answer is, that's the taxpayer's responsibility. No, that's not how this works. Taxpayers are already stretched thin. People working 9 to 5s, paying for groceries, rent, childcare, and taxes on top of it. They're not responsible for covering 6 kids because you refuse to work. And $22,000 in overpaid benefits? That's not the system playing you. That's years of abuse finally catching up. The entitlement here is mind-blowing. Welfare was designed as a safety net, not a career plan. But what do you think? Should there be stricter limits on how long someone can stay on government benefits, or do you believe the current system is fair as it is? But anyway, in our next video, we'll watch a woman who's been living on welfare for 6 years and still defies the system.
I've been on welfare 6 years of my adult life. Let's talk about it. The first time I was on welfare, I was in my 3rd trimester of my first pregnancy. I was married to the father of my child, and he decided to sleep with a 17-year-old girl. We can do a story time about that later. Leave it in the comments if you want to hear. That effectively ended our marriage. I was not about to find a job in my 3rd trimester when I had a bowling ball under my shirt. I immediately qualified for WIC, food stamps, cash assistance, and medical. I was on it for over a year, up until my son's 1st birthday. I had remarried, my husband was working, my new husband, and he was adopting our son. Fast forward a couple years. We go on welfare again. My husband was a disabled retired Marine, and we were fighting with the military and Social Security to get his benefits. This time we qualified for food stamps, medical, and WIC. And yes, I had babies while I was on welfare. I also wasn't allowed to work. I was being financially abused. But that's how I was on welfare for 6 years of my adult life. I was on medical for a lot longer. Thankfully, in my state, you qualify with even a higher income. There's nothing to be ashamed of being on benefits. It's to help people. And yes, there is a small percentage of people who abuse the system. And I'm okay with that, because the vast majority of people are working and are just trying to get by. We pay so much in corporate welfare that I don't care if a few people get one over on the government. Sorry, not sorry. And here's the thing. I teach people how to make money for themselves so that they can get off benefits if they want to. I do that for free. I never want somebody to be in the position I was in to need benefits or be financially abused where you have to rely on them. Don't ever let anybody tell you that there's something wrong with being on welfare. Sometimes we all need a helping hand.
Now here's a perspective you don't often hear in these welfare debates. She admits she's been on government benefits for 6 years, but notice the difference. It wasn't about laziness or entitlement. It was divorce in her 3rd trimester. It was a disabled Marine husband fighting Social Security. It was financial abuse that literally prevented her from working. That's what the system was built for. And you can feel the gratitude. She's not pretending it was glamorous. She's pointing out that sometimes you really do need that safety net. Look, we should absolutely call out abuse, but we should also recognize when benefits keep families afloat during a storm. There's a big difference. What do you think? Should there be clearer lines between people who truly need help versus those who game the system? Drop your thoughts. I read everyone. Anyway, in the next video, we'll see someone pretending to be sick to trick the system, refusing to work but still wanting free perks.
Yes, the government is making it harder for these people to stay on assistance and low income and food stamps and all of that. But let me explain something to you and what I'm talking about, these kind of people. If the government says, unless your right leg doesn't work, you can't be on low income, these motherfuckers will go to the doctor and get a letter saying that and start limping, talking about their right leg don't work. Everything that the government throws out there, they figure out a way to make it work. Just like with people that I work with, they're like, oh, they'll take my food stamps away if I go over these many hours a month, and they make it to where they don't work that many hours a month. Now, I've had people from DSHS call me before and be like, oh, this person's working these many hours. Is that correct? Yes, that is correct, but it is by choice. I have more work for her, and if she wants to work, all she has to do is give me a call right now, and I'll put her to work. Oh, okay, we didn't know that, blah, blah, blah. And then they come up with a doctor's note on how they can't, they can't work because they're depressed or this or that. These people find a way. The government's making it harder. The government has a path to making you a worker, but these people make a living off of this shit. So they make themselves fit into that category so they can continue getting free housing and food stamps and medical and all of this crap. And people like us, we're out here at work away from our kids. We miss our kids too. We want to make dinner too. We want to be ahead of the way too. We want to do our hair too. We want to fucking put our makeup on too. But we got to be here at work. We don't have time for that. It's either 30 minutes of extra sleep or doing my hair and makeup. And guess what? I'm going to choose to sleep an extra 30 minutes.
In British Columbia, Canada, a single mom with 4 kids could be looking at over $4,000 a month in combined welfare, housing support, and child benefits. That's more than $50,000 a year, tax-free. For some, that's actually higher than what a working-class family earns clocking in every single day. And that raises the big question, is this real support that helps families survive? Or is it a trap that keeps people stuck in dependency? I'm curious how you see it, because the answer probably says a lot about where you stand on personal responsibility and government aid. But anyway, in the next video, a single mother of 4 in Canada receives over $2,300 a month without working. While taxpayers struggle to make ends meet, the system rewards free welfare. Is it fair? Let's watch.
So when I said that I prefer living in the United States to Canada, of course it sparked a debate in the comments, and I mentioned that I used to work for the welfare system, and then people were curious how much a single person got on welfare in Canada, so let's calculate it. Okay, so we're looking at the rate tables for BC, Canada. So we are going to do a family with 4 kids, a single mom with 4 kids. So that brings us to a total of 5 people. So $1,055 is her support amount. And then the shelter amount would be $765, which I think brings us to $21,840 a year, which will be important coming up. So I was going to upload the video of me actually going to the website and putting in all these calculations, but the video was really long because you have to answer quite a few questions and type in like the children's birth dates. So I did a single mom with 4 kids. She not only would get the amount from welfare, which is this much, she would also get a quarterly amount of $314. Sorry, my baby's like playing right there. She would also get $139 quarterly, and then every month $2,332 and $350, which brings us to this total per month. So this is what a single mom with 4 kids on welfare would receive from the government per month. That's only if they aren't working and aren't receiving any income from anyone else. And like I said, single, so like they don't have a spouse or anything. This is what they get per month.
53.8% of the kids that are in care, meaning in foster care, are Indigenous. I just did an assignment on this, and I also wanted to take it a step further and see how many of those kids in care end up potentially homeless. So I just presented today, and I figured out that 70.3% of the children that are homeless and the youth that are homeless right now in Canada have been in the child welfare system. Coincidence? Absolutely not. In my assignment, I also talked about the link between the child welfare system and poor mental health, as well as addiction issues and loss of culture and a bunch of other stuff. But I just found those statistics to be so crazy, and the fact that no one's talking about that is also crazy. So there's obviously a direct connection between the child welfare system and youth homelessness. So
Did you know that in Canada, 53.8% of all children in foster care are Indigenous? And it gets worse. 70.3% of homeless youth have been through the child welfare system. That's not a coincidence. That's a pipeline. A system that removes kids from their families, strips away their culture, and too often fails to provide real stability. The outcome? Higher rates of poor mental health, addiction, and homelessness. We talk a lot about reconciliation, but how can there ever be true reconciliation if this cycle keeps repeating itself? At some point, it's not just history, it's the present. Anyway, next video, we'll see the tragedy of people who lived off government aid for 30 years without building a single skill, living on handouts your whole life, then crying victim when it's cut off.
Imagine being on government assistance for 30 years and then being cut off. What do? You didn't finish high school. You never went to college. You were never married, or either you were married and now you're divorced. You have no assets. You have no savings account. And you have no skills. You don't even know how to fill out a job application because you've never held a job before. If you one of the people that's waiting for the Section 8 list to open up so you can apply now, this is not for you. We already know you worked hard for everything that you have, never needed a handout, never needed government assistance or any of that stuff. And now that the inflation is up and times are hard, you ready to get your Section 8 voucher. Just keep scrolling. Now that they're gone, back to what I was saying. I talk about healing a lot on my page because we fail to realize that healing is so much more than healing from a traumatic experience, healing from abuse, or healing from addictions. Growing up in poverty, or, with a poverty background where welfare is the only option, eventually you have to heal that mindset where you only think survival. You only think scarcity. You hold on to everything because you've never had anything. When you do get money, you spend it all instead of saving or putting a little bit to the side or investing in something. You don't know how to budget because you've never had to budget. It may seem like it's too late to do anything with your life. It's too late to learn any new skills. It's too late to try to save now. I just want to tell you that that's not true. It's never too late to invest in yourself. You just have to start. And you have to start with healing from your traumas. It's not going to happen overnight. You definitely have to be intentional, and you're going to have to be disciplined. Stop procrastinating. Stop blaming everybody else. Stop having a pity party and put in the work. You can do it.
Relying on government support for 30 years is not a life plan. It's a dead end. With no work experience, no savings, no skills, the day that aid gets cut off, you'll be left with nothing. That's why, instead of constantly blaming others, you need to take responsibility. Because at the end of the day, no one is coming to save you. You will either learn to stand on your own 2 feet, or you'll keep getting lost in the same cycle. What do you think, though? Should long-term benefits have strict limits to push people toward independence? Or do you believe the system should keep supporting them as long as they qualify? Drop your thoughts below. I read every comment, but anyway, you know I saved our craziest video for last.
Somebody to fucking tell me they're lying. I need somebody to fucking tell me they're lying. I need somebody to fucking tell me they're lying right fucking now, because what the fuck do you mean that I'm not gonna get my fucking SNAP benefits? What the fuck do you mean? Because what the fuck is happening? Do you understand that there are people like me who cannot work? Do you understand there are people like me who have kids who cannot eat? Do you understand there are people like me who go hungry the last week of the month just so my kids can't eat? Because SNAP benefits is all we fucking get? I need somebody to please fucking tell me he's lying. I can't. What the fuck am I gonna do? Oh, fuck.
It is unacceptable for a family to go without food. That's what the system is for. But there are also implementation errors, security vulnerabilities, and malicious abuses. And as long as these remain unresolved, those truly in need will continue to suffer while taxpayers grow more frustrated. The priority should be clear: technical measures to prevent stolen funds, fast appeal and review processes, and accelerated aid channels that guarantee support only reaches the families who really need it. It is our right to demand rational solutions, but also our duty to approach the issue with empathy. What do you think, though? Should programs like these focus more on tightening security to stop fraud, or on faster delivery to ensure struggling families get immediate help? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. And that's going to wrap it up for today. If you enjoyed this breakdown, go ahead and tap the video on screen for more stories just like this one. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss the next update. Have a wonderful day.